Hi everyone, today we'll do Ajiaco. This is one of the national dishes in Colombia. Some call it a soup, others call it a stew. Most important is that it's delicious and it's made out of three different ingredients: chicken, corn and potatoes. I'll explain you further, but each of them has a different complexity in the soup. So to start, you should have one pot full with water that you should start already boiling. Two corn on the knob. I took two chicken thighs, but ideally you would have chicken breast with skin. Two tablespoons of guascas. This is an herb from Colombia and Latin America that most likely you will just find in Latin shops. If you cannot find them, you just replace them for something you have on hand, like coriander. It's kind of important for the taste, but you can still make it without. Two tea bags. They can be paper bags or textile. A bunch of spring onion, another of coriander. So to start, you should take the corn and you should take the leaves out of the corn. Don't throw them away because you will need them. Some of them at least. The hairy bits you can throw. You can then pick some of the outer leaves and try to do a bouquet with the spring onions and coriander. That you can also tie with another leaf like this. And you can then add it to the pot, as well as the chicken. You reserve some of the leaves for later, because you'll have to repeat this process, and throw the rest. You can then cut the knobs, or better, break them with a hand, like this. You can then divide the guasca leaves between the two tea bags. I have them dry because I don't live in America, so this is the way that they won't disturb you while eating, because they can be quite intense. And you close the bags, you save one aside, and the other you put in the soup, just like the bouquet. When it starts boiling, just reduce a bit the heat so it boils gently. and cover it for 20 minutes. In the meantime, you can just gather the ingredients you need for the soup and do some preparation. Usually in Colombia, you'll need 3 different kinds of potatoes that will have a different grade of starchy and waxy textures. In my case, I did just 2. The first kind, I took some waxy potatoes called Mona Lisa, which are very common in France. The indispensable ones are Criolla potatoes or papas criolla that you can find in Latino markets, usually frozen. Salt enough to season the soup in the end, I would say around 1 to 2 tablespoons of salt. The guascas that we put in the bag in the beginning of the recipe. And another dose of herbs like coriander and spring onion that we'll make a bouquet with after. So, you can start by preparing the waxy potatoes. You will peel them. You will then slice them. You can then add them to the pot. And let them cook for 15 minutes. Usually, as it's 3 kinds of potatoes, you will have to cook each 10 minutes. In my case, these ones are quite waxy and I will just leave them for 15. You can then start preparing the papa criolla. In my case, they were frozen, as I mentioned, from the Latin market. So I'm just taking the skin like this. If you're lucky enough to have them fresh, you will peel them like the others. As you can see, they have a really yellow color, which will be the color given to the soup. They have very starchy texture, so they will basically fall apart when you cook them. You can then slice them. Make then another bouquet with the remaining coriander and spring onion. And you can take the old bouquet out of the pot. As well as the chicken. That you will set aside to cool down. And the tea bag with the guascas. And you can add the potatoes, the bouquet, the tea bag with the remaining guascas, and the salt. And you will cook all of this for 10 minutes. We're approaching the end of our dish. We can now start preparing the toppings. I have here a handful of salted capers. You can also have them in vinegar, it's the same. 1 avocado, sour cream or crème fraîche, and the chicken that we cooked before. You can start by adding water to the capers. So you'll take the salt out of them, most of it, leave them there. You can start also slicing the avocado. Take the skin out of the chicken. The purpose of the skin was to give nutrients and flavor. And you start clipping the chicken in small pieces, like that. And then stop. It smells crazy. You can take the herbs out of it once more. And you can just have a taste of the soup. And you can swirl it around so that the rest of the Criolla potatoes will smash and give this texture of the soup. Add some salt if needed. You can then start putting your toppings. And here you have your ajiaco, a comfort food that brings you the warmth of South America. You know that I'm here if you have any questions. You can submit them in the comments below. If you haven't subscribed yet to my channel, you can also still do it if you're interested for more recipes. And I'll see you next time with another video. Bye!